Tonight, we now know the name of Toronto's first murder victim of the new year.
Just bang, 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 bang.
It's not the way you want to start off the new year, obviously, but it's an existing problem within the city.
The 21-year-old and another person were attacked while sitting in a car in Regent Park. The suspects are still at large. Plus,
what does it matter is because a lot of people are taking these services and we want to make sure they're doing it safely.
with the new year comes a stricter set of bylaws for ride-hailing services. And we'll introduce you to the Toronto shoemaker making custom footwear for some of Hollywood's biggest hits, all from his Parkdale workshop. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. Toronto saw a record number of shootings last year, and just hours into 2020, an all-too-familiar scene playing out once again in Regent Park. Two people sitting in a car near Oak and River Streets were sprayed with bullets just after 10:30 last night. One of them died. The other remains in hospital. Now, late this afternoon, police identified the man who died as 21-year-old Ahmed Yakut of Toronto. Our Angelina King has more on what happened.
I was shaking. I couldn't think and I couldn't help.
Constantine Palizzo saw the aftermath of the city's first homicide of the year. He says he was in this convenience store when he heard multiple shots.
I went to the car. I seen one guy with shot head in the head. The other guy, he had shot in the stomach.
Two men were shot inside this car around 10:30 last night. They were rushed to hospital. A man in his early 20s died there overnight. The other man has non-life-threatening injuries. The car, riddled with bullets, was towed away from the crime scene this morning, revealing more bullet holes in the fence behind it. One resident says she heard at least 8 shots.
Just a bang, 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 bang. Well, you know what? We're so used to the bangs around here, it wasn't really hard on us. Or some of us anyway, when you're used to it.
And now police are looking through all of the surveillance video that was captured in the area. This one behind me showing as police and paramedics arrive after the two men were shot. Minutes before, the video shows one car pulling up. As a man walks toward the store, another car arrives, then moves closer to the first car. Less than a minute later, the man runs to the cars outside, then back toward the store. Palizos is seen outside. He says the man in the video was with the two victims.
He said, call an ambulance. Oh my God, call an ambulance. The police came. They went here, there. Right? I told him to come over here. The guy is in the car shot in the head.
Police don't know how many suspects are involved, but say
we do have a suspect vehicle, which is a small, dark-colored sedan.
This community hub says its clients are worried.
It makes them feel unsafe in their homes.
He says gun violence isn't a quick fix, but wants more done for young people.
From a really young age, all the way through, from the age of 4 till they're into their early 20s. Give them opportunities to join programs, volunteer, and then job opportunities is the way to do it.
Some longtime residents say they've experienced a decrease in crime here in the last few years, especially after the Regent Park revitalization took off. But they say after last night, they're not feeling too optimistic and hope there's no more of this in 2020. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Meanwhile, police have identified Toronto's final murder victim of 2019. 43-year-old Clinton Phil Williams was shot after walking into an underground parking lot near Nielsen and Finch on New Year's Eve. Investigators say a suspect, a man, left the scene in a light-colored car driving towards Crow Trail. Now, Williams was the 77th murder victim of last year. That's a drop from the 96th the year before, but 2018 did see both the Yonge Street van attack and the Danforth shooting tragedies. Now, in 2019, 63 of the 77 murder victims were men, and more than half of Toronto's homicide victims last year died from guns. 15 died from stabbings. And a teen charged with first-degree murder in the death of 14-year-old Elvin Selvey in Hamilton is now facing more charges for 2 other incidents. The accused, who's also 14, appeared in court this morning. The new charges against him include assault, forcible confinement, and uttering threats. Our Kel Yoon joins us now in the newsroom and joins us now. So the victim only came forward after the accused was arrested in Selby's death, Kelda.
Yeah, it was in November, a month after the murder, that police found out about these other incidents and began investigating. This 14-year-old is already charged with stabbing Devin Selby to death. It happened behind Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School in East Hamilton back in October. It all took place in front of the boy's mother. The accused 18-year-old brother is also facing assault charges in connection with the death, and we are not allowed to name either of them. As for these new charges, they happened in June of 2017 and January of last year. Police say the victim didn't report them at the time because he was scared. In the first incident, police said the 14-year-old allegedly assaulted him with a weapon, threatened him, and held him against his will at someone's home. Then last year, the accused allegedly threatened the victim after the two got into an argument. As CBC spoke to his mother, who says she feels a weight has been lifted.
I feel relieved for my son because he's been hiding forever. And, I want him to know that he can stand up for himself and it'll be okay. Like, nobody's going to hurt him anymore. We want people to know. I don't think we want to hide anymore, I think, and it's a big deal. They're hurting our kids.
As she says, when her son heard about what happened to Selby, he said, that could have been me. And she also says he has since changed schools and is doing a lot better.
Certainly a difficult situation. Glad the family's doing better, Kelda.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, Toronto police continue to investigate what they are calling a suspicious death of a man found near Woodbine Beach. They actually found his body last night near the Somerville pool. The pedestrian reportedly made the grisly discovery. Investigators are working to confirm the person's identity. So far, they are only saying the victim is Asian. And we're learning more tonight about a 17-year-old Brampton teen killed just minutes before midnight on New Year's Eve. It happened during a house party on Alderbury Crescent. That's near Steeles and Bramley Road. Shots rang out and neighbors say they saw 30 to 50 teens running away from the house. Police arrived to find the teen, Jordan Henry. He died on scene shortly afterwards. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward. Local city councillor said the house was a rental, but has never had problems before.
There was never a complaint on this house. We have some complaints on the next street over. There is a lot of rentals around here. A lot of people are buying them. They got 2 or 3 families, or they have these group homes, and unfortunately we cannot go knock on every door.
Now, Henry was in grade 12 at St. Margaret de Ville Catholic Secondary School in Brampton. He played on the school's football team. In a tweet, the team called Henry a, quote, quiet young man who was respected by his coaches for the strong work ethic he brought to the field every day. The shooting is Brampton's 31st and final homicide of 2019. And more tragedy on New Year's Eve. A man is dead and another has been charged with impaired driving after a crash near Elgin Mills and 9th Line in Markham just after 7 p.m. on Tuesday night. Investigators say an officer took notice of a suspicious Hyundai Veloster driving past and decided to follow it. A short time later, it crashed into another car, killing the 68-year-old driver. 40-year-old Stanley Choi from Stouffville is now facing multiple charges, including impaired driving causing death. Now, this comes after several weeks of police warnings to drivers about driving under the influence.
We were all over social media with posts about the dangers of impaired driving, not to drive while impaired this New Year's Eve or any day. And it was, just after 7 o'clock in the evening that the first tragedy struck in York Region.
Now, what happened in the lead up to the accident remains unclear. The Special Investigations Unit is now looking into the matter. It investigates deaths involving police. Back here in Toronto, the new year means new bylaws for taxis and ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft. The sweeping changes are meant to beef up safety. But as our City Hall reporter Lauren Pelly explains, not everyone feels the regulations go far enough.
On any given day, thousands of vehicles for hire are crisscrossing the city. Those drivers now face tougher bylaws, which mandate having at least 3 years of driving experience and completing city-approved training.
What does it matter is because a lot of people are taking these services and we want to make sure they're doing it safely.
Drivers are also now required to attach notices to their cars, encouraging riders to watch out for cyclists, and they need to securely mount their phones. It's a shift that follows this deadly crash in March 2018. While driving 2 passengers to Pearson Airport, an Uber driver pulled over onto the shoulder of the gardener to pick up his cell phone, and his car was hit by a vehicle driving at full speed. One of the passengers, 28-year-old Nicholas Cameron, was killed. Cameron's death sparked public outcry, with thousands calling on the city to bring back driver training. It was scrapped in 2016 for both taxis and ride-sharing vehicles, a move many say lowered the bar for all vehicle for hires.
We're going back in time, and in fact, it's in complete conflict with what everyone is saying they want to see in the city.
The operations manager for one of Toronto's leading taxi companies says she's maintained driver training programs for years. Now she's questioning how the city will enforce and implement its latest approach.
This bylaw took effect yesterday. There are still so many unanswered questions. What is that training going to look like? We're hearing from staff that they don't know who will even offer it or what that training is going to require.
City officials say they are working on a training program, but it won't be finalized until the summer.
This is going to take some time to roll out for everyone to get the necessary training, but you will have to have it by June 1st.
That's for anyone renewing or getting a new license. And in the meantime,
we have a dedicated enforcement team that does vehicle for hire, again, across all streams, be it taxi, limousine, or vehicle for hire. People can call 311, people can register a complaint, and we will be out there enforcing.
Both Uber and Lyft tell us they'll be working to comply with the new requirements this year. And it could take even longer before riders can tell if the changes really work. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Nick Sirkovich joins us now with his first look at the forecast. I can't believe how mild 2020 is feeling.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Mike. To put things in perspective, the average daytime high, -1 for this time of year. Today's high, 6 degrees. And that's pretty much what we saw right across the board. In fact, Windsor was up to 8 degrees. St. Catharines was up to 8 degrees as well. Cloud cover is going to stick around through the overnight period tonight. We're watching a little system that's sliding to the north. This is likely to bring with it just cloud cover, but we may see a few spotty showers through the afternoon. Otherwise, it's this into Saturday. That could be a bit of a snowmaker for us, and we've got a few snowmakers on the way over the next 5 days that we'll talk about in the long-range forecast. For now, there is a look at the next 24 hours. Another mild day in store for us tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
I want to start the new year with a win. There is a new record for tomorrow's Lotto Max draw, $70 million. There are also 10 $1 million giveaways, bringing the total payout up for grabs to $80 million.
Everything is made here in Parkdale, completely by hand, for shows literally all over the world.
Well, you've seen the daring designs in some of your favorite films. After the break, we'll take you to a local workshop where some of Hollywood's hottest shoes are created. Marilyn Lastman, the wife of former Toronto and North York Mayor Mel Lastman, has died. The 84-year-old passed away last night. She was well known for her work with a number of local charities. In a statement today, Mayor Tory issued his condolences on behalf of the city, recognizing Lastman's devotion to her husband and family. Well, this weekend is the Golden Globes, and a number of nominees share one thing in common. Rocket Man, Jojo Rabbit, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Dolomite Is My Name are 4 of the 5 films nominated for Best Musical or Comedy, but they're all featuring shoes or boots created in a small workshop here in Toronto. We went to the century-old factory space in Parkdale to find out more.
This is Jitterbug Boy. It's a shop I established almost 15 years ago here in Toronto. And what we do is we make footwear exclusively for the arts. So our main clients tend to be films, TV, fair bit of circus, a little bit of theater here and there, and then, the occasional opera or ballet. Everything is made here in Parkdale, completely by hand, for shows literally all over the world. Almost everybody who came in here didn't have any shoemaking experience, but the one common thing with all 18 or 19 people you see kicking around in here is everyone's creative and everyone's good with their hands. I have not purchased a pair of shoes in about 14 years, so yeah, every pair of shoes that I wear have been made here. We probably do about 50 or 60 films a year now, so it kind of becomes a little bit less. It's still kind of cool, but I remember the first few times it was like, wow, that's us. That is what we did in this room. Often you get the opposite as well. You'll work really, really long hours trying to figure out something, finally get it to work, go see the film 18 months later and they don't even make it into frame, and you're going, oh man. But that's part of the gig.
Well, to read more about Jeff Churchill's work, head to our website, cbcnews.ca. After the break, it was a busy day for Canadian athletes. The junior women's hockey team took on the U.S. for gold, while the men looked to advance to the semifinals in their tournament. Oh, and the Leafs and the Raptors were also in action. We'll have all your highlights coming up.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
Well, Team Canada with a heartbreaking 2-1 loss to the U.S. in a rematch of the women's hockey U18 final today. Kiara Zanin scoring on a 2-0 breakaway in overtime. She slid the puck past the glove side of Canadian goaltender Yves Gascon. The final was a rematch of last year's championship game where Canada won 3-2. But Canada's men's juniors are still in contention, even after getting off on the wrong foot. Just 53 seconds into the game, Nolan Foote gets a 5-minute major and game misconduct right there. The referee is determining he made contact with the head of Slovakia's Christian Kovacic. Now, Team Canada holds off the power play, then go on a 1-0 lead thanks to captain Per Hayton with a goal right there. Second period, go to a 2-on-1. Connor McMichael fires it top shelf. Canada goes on to blow out Slovakia with a 6-1 final and will take on Finland in the semifinals on Saturday. I'm back here. The Leafs in Winnipeg tonight with a high-scoring game. Let's skip to the second period. That's when the goals start flying. It's 2-2. Alex Kerfoot can't get it going, but Travis Dermott follows up for his fourth of this season. Then just 35 seconds later, Pierre Engel makes it back-to-back goals for the Buds. Toronto up 5-3 in the third when William Nylander puts it out of reach, his second of the game. Leafs double the Jets 6-3. And finally, the Raptors kicking off the new year in Miami, missing Siakam with Gasol and Powell, though. Tight game in the second. Kyle Lowry drives through the Heat, gets it to go off the glass. But the Heat go on a run, a 10-4 stretch for them here. To take a lead there. Scary play in the third. Lowry at the top there twists his ankle after some light contact. He leaves the floor immediately. Fortunately, he returned quickly, but Miami would keep the pedal down, beating Toronto 84-76. 76 points. That is the Raptors' lowest point total of the season. Nick Cernkovich is back with his extended forecast. So another mild day on tap for tomorrow, but things are going to start feeling more winter-like soon.
Yeah, they will. We ended 2019 with more winter-like conditions. We started 2020 with more spring-like conditions, but very quickly we're getting back into the more seasonal temperatures and type of weather. Another mild day on tap for tomorrow, as we mentioned. Temperatures are cooling off, though, into the weekend. And we've also got some snow to talk about as well. So let's get right into that. For tomorrow, we're looking at generally cloudy skies. That being said, we may see a few hints of sunshine. System just sliding to the south of us should keep out of the GTA, but a few very brief spotty showers are possible through the afternoon. Other than that, though, it'll just be cloudy for tomorrow. Into Saturday, though, another system slides up. Now, this one really just kind of tracing a line along the north shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. And as it slides across Saturday, it has the potential to leave a little bit of snow with it across the GTA. What we're talking about here in terms of snow is about 1 to 3 centimeters. Then heading into Sunday afternoon, cloud cover moves in again and another round. So this is round 2. Sweeps across the GTA by Sunday night into Monday, and that again is likely to bring about 1 to 3 centimeters of snow for the city. So not a lot for accumulations, but it will slick up the roads a little bit there and leave a dusting on the car. There's a look at the forecast model, but these are shifting. So because we're sitting right on the line, very likely we could see trace to 1 centimeter, or on the flip side of that, more like 4, 5, 6 centimeters as we head through Saturday. And that's just because we're drawing kind of a sharp line across the GTA. We're right on the edge of this thing. For tonight in southwestern Ontario, cloud cover, the chance of a few showers. Fog patches developing, though, through the overnight as temperatures begin to cool. Into tomorrow, cloud cover, highs to 7 degrees and a few showers as well from Windsor down around the Leamington area. That system just kind of brushes by. 4 degrees around the Golden Horseshoe for tonight. Winds lightening up as well, and then into tomorrow, winds even lighter at about 15 kilometers per hour, and 7 as our high. Long range forecast, there's the snow I talked about for Saturday and Sunday. A bit of a break with just some flurries on Monday. And Tuesday, potential weather maker for 5+ centimeters of snow, but we've got to watch it as we get a bit closer.
We'll watch it, and certainly will. Thanks a lot, Nick.
You bet.
I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, one of the teachers told the class that if they misbehaved, God would make them like me. You know, like as if it was a punishment or something.
Well, born with cerebral palsy, no one expected him to walk, much less enter a boxing ring. Now he's ready for his next big step. How this man is beating the odds after the break. Boxing is one of the most demanding sports. Going toe-to-toe with an opponent takes training and conditioning, not just physically, but mentally. Philip Lishanek introduces us to a contender who overcame those kinds of hurdles even before he decided to step into the ring.
That's good.
Yeah. He's preparing for his first licensed amateur bout. His trainer and sparring partner put him through the paces.
3.
But seemingly insurmountable challenges are not new for this fighter. Zeus Sequeira was born with quadriplegic cerebral palsy.
I think I've always sort of had that fighting mindset, or like the mindset of a fighter.
He didn't sit up until he was 3 years old. Doctors said he wouldn't be able to stand and would walk with difficulty. Growing up, he was always reminded that he was different.
I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, one of the teachers told the class that if they misbehaved, God would make them like me. You know, like as if it was a punishment or something.
But now he's not only standing, but hitting and getting hit.
It felt like a huge victory because I had an initial diagnosis in '88 saying that, you know, I wouldn't be able to stand and I wouldn't have any mobility below the neck, and then now I'm licensed to fight, you know.
Extensive surgery when he was a teen and his tenacity helped to get him where he is now. At 31, he's cleared to fight in just a few months. His trainer says he deserves his shot.
He's a fighter. He's a fighter inside, and when you have this courage and you're willing to give so much, the results are there.
The owner of the club he trains at says he's an example to anyone who wants to lace up the gloves and go a few rounds.
He has something to fight for, so, you know, I think only good can come from that, and it can inspire a lot of people as well.
Zeus says he gets nervous every time he steps into the ring, but that's nothing compared to the courage it took to step into a boxing club for the first time. His message, just take that first step.
You know, if you have a vision for yourself, make a beginning, no matter how small it is.
And he'll be fighting so others can too. He's hoping to raise $10,000 for Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. Philip Lishanek, CBC News, Toronto.
That's our newscast for tonight. If you're missing Matt Galloway, you can actually hear him on Metro Morning tomorrow, but as a guest. He's going to be talking about his big transition to hosting The Current. You can hear that tomorrow at 8:20 in the morning. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.